Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to my brothers and sisters in the MBCI family. Recording from yet another one of MBCI's super studios around the globe. I will try and be as precise as I can because our time, of course, is very precious. And I was flying up to where I am now in Eastern Australia, and I had this thought that I needed to talk with you about relationships, which also came into prosperity. And at a little satellite meeting recently, or a team meeting, some other people verified this, so I thought, well, that's good enough for me that other people have said that this is something to talk about. I have used as a basis to talk to you about the subject matter of prosperity. Somebody gave me a book for Christmas, which I've been a little reluctant to open because I'm not an advocate of prosperity preaching. You know, Lord, give me a red Mercedes, the latest model, please, that sort of stuff. But I picked up the book anyway, and I'll show it to you. Here it is. The Breaking the Jewish Code, 12 Secrets that will transform your life, family, health, and finances. And so I've been wandering through this book, and I'm going to use some parts of it over the next times that we get together with the YouTube. But I think that one of the things I wanted to focus on before I give you some definitions of prosperity is the importance of relationships. MBCI, way back when we started, it was very clear that God wanted us to build an organism, a family, based on relationships. Relationships with Him, with each other, and with our clients. Interesting. Relationships being the glue, what holds us together. And to make relationships work, it really requires communication. And I'm not the best communicator. Ask my wife and my children and my grandchildren. But we do know how critical communication is in building and developing relationships. And when there's a large audience, when one person is talking to a large audience, that's really a one-way communication, and therefore not necessarily the words that come from a person's mouth will necessarily be agreed or received in the same way of what is intended. However, in small groups, that's a different matter, and it's easier to arrive at a unified solution in dealing with issues and problems. Consequently, although MBCI has some legal structures being set up, MBCI Australia, MBCI South Africa, MBCI Kenya, MBCI Sweden, and so on, they're merely legal structures for administration purposes. Principally, the satellite, the region where you live, is the place to gather together with other MBCs. The satellite is really the engines, the little engines, if you like, of MBCs or MBCI around the world. And those little engines will work because you will be able to arrive at unified positions, strategies, planning, above all prayer, and then agreeing what you've heard from the Father is the way to go ahead. So my encouragement, if you're not in a satellite, find one, join it. If there is no satellite in your area, then please take the initiative and start one. Call some MBCIs up and make it happen. There is on the DMS a guidelines of running a satellite, but you don't have to stick with those. You can just make it happen as you are led. The important thing is being together and being together regularly. And sure, good order and discipline are important. You saw me in my naval uniform last time. Discipline, good order. However, it's the unity that really is critical. And with unity, you can then approach this matter of prosperity. Now, I'm going to read from this book because the book is pretty much based around the Torah, which Jesus himself continued to honour the feasts, all the various steppings in the Torah, and he actually fixed the the side where you no longer have to kill animals and stuff for forgiveness, because he did that for us, as we know. But in terms of the feasts, the ceremonies, the food, yes, he was Torah compliant. So if it was good enough for him, and he was a Jew while on planet Earth, it might be worth our consideration without going into the theology of this, that and the other. Let me read something from this book. It talks about the Jews. Just mention the phrase Jewish wealth. Some people believe the term is a preconceived stereotype planted by a few Gentiles, while others visualize a vast secret Jewish conspiracy planning a new world order. Others suggest a different secret, some unknown X factor or special genius factor encoded in the Jewish DNA that gives this ethnic group the edge in economic investment and planning. Few individuals who recognise Jewish success acknowledge the real source of Jewish success in global business, and that is a covenant, great word, covenant, of wealth established in the Torah. And I'm going to speak on the covenant at another time. Yes, the book goes on to say there are Jews who are not wealthy. There are Jews who've done it hard. But he goes on to say other nations have recognised the creative genius and business expertise of Jews in the fields of religion, finance, the arts, science and medicine. As an ethnic group, Jews have survived against all odds. And like the old mythological phoenix, they have risen from the ashes of near extinction to rebuild their nation of Israel and prosper where they are planted. Or I should say planted, really. Torah practicing Jews know there is a covenant of prosperity found in God's covenant for the Hebrew nation. Deuteronomy reads, "Therefore keep the words of this covenant and do them, that you may prosper in all that you do." So that's very interesting, because I think many of us have had an interesting view of the Jews and their relationship to wealth and prosperity, and we honour them for what they have done in those areas in our business world. The number of the creative genius that, if you've been to Israel, just see it happening. It's just awesome. And so that's interesting. Now, I will not go on too much longer, but I want to leave you with the word prosperity. And again, at your satellite getting together, kick this around a bit. I read from this book again. The purest meaning of the word prosper is found in the scriptures themselves. The word prosper is penned 49 times in the English translation of the Bible, while the word prosperous is recorded 8 times and prosperity is found 17 times. In the Old Covenant Testament, the common Hebrew word for prosper is talach, or salach, and can mean to come out, go through, and accomplish success. To come out, go through, and accomplish success. Can I leave that with you? Yes, we can relate, and the outcomes of prosperity can include all sorts of things, but that's quite deep. That's quite deep. I'll leave it at that, because if we're going to really acknowledge that logo that we believe God gave us, which includes the words prosperity, then we've really got to get a handle on that together. So I leave this with you. Please take it back to your satellites, kick it around, and ask God together how he wants to prosper you individually and corporately. He will. He promises. And if anybody wants to get hold of the book, Breaking the Jewish Code, by a fellow called Perry Stone, sure, by all means. I don't agree with everything that Perry is saying in the book, But that's okay. But there is some great scripture in there that can be fleshed out and discussed, because this is what makes us different. We follow a manual called the Bible. The Bible consists of the Torah, the prophets, right through to the New Covenant. And it's not two books, it's one book alone. So I'm sold on His word, and I hope you are too. Shalom for now. Bless you.